Direct Connection is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you. Live from Maryland Public Television, this is Direct Connection with Jeff Salkin.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for tuning in for Direct Connection. Coming up tonight, health tips, especially for men. What guys need to know but often don't, that's ahead. First tonight, 95 degrees and sunny today. That draws a lot of people to the water, where last year, 17 people lost their lives in boating accidents in Maryland. Joining us tonight to answer your boating safety questions is Sarah Wallace, U.S. Coast Guard Lieutenant Commander, joining us from Coast Guard Station Annapolis. And Commander, on a day like this, out there we have sailboats, power boats, kayaks, paddle boards, who knows what, operating in confined areas. It's easy to see how accidents happen.
Yes, beautiful days like today, we can, especially in the summertime, thousands of boats on the water any given day.
Point of emphasis this year for safety is bow riding. In other words, not riding on the very front of the boat. Why is that?
Well, Maryland Natural Resources Police put the campaign together to educate people about the importance of riding inside, and Coast Guard was happy to team up with them to support that effort. Bow riding is extremely dangerous. Many people don't realize what they're doing when they typically allow their kids to sit on the front of the vessel and hang over the side. While it may seem fun, oftentimes it can end in tragic death.
Why is it especially dangerous to be there versus other places on the boat?
Well, when you're riding on the bow of the boat, and numerous things can happen. If the operator of the vessel needs to take evasive maneuver because there's a pot or something in the water that they want to try and get around, or they aren't paying attention and they hit something, or they have to stop, or they hit a wake. Any of those factors can cause someone on the bow of the vessel to fall overboard. And when that happens, the reaction time necessary for the operator to stop that vessel before they go over the person that fell in the water is nearly impossible to get that vessel to stop before it reaches, the propellers reach the individual that has fallen over.
You were telling me that in this area particularly, many people have a false sense of security on the water. Why is that?
Yeah, so, I think people think about the Chesapeake Bay, the rivers, the tributaries that run off of it, the Potomac River, the waters that are in Maryland. They think that they don't need to practice the same safety practices that they would in open ocean. People think about open ocean, they think they need to do a lot more stuff to make sure they're safe. The reality is anything and everything that can happen in open ocean happens on the Potomac River or the Chesapeake Bay. When things go bad, they go bad quickly, and there's no difference whether in open ocean or the Chesapeake Bay. You're going to still need to do the same things and have the same safety equipment to support yourself until help can get on scene.
Who needs to have safety training to operate a boat within the state of Maryland?
So I recommend everyone take a boating safety class. Whether you've been on the water your whole life, grown up on the water as a child, came here as a tourist, or just bought yourself a new boat, the boating safety classes can help everyone. Every year there's new things change, so it's always important to stay on top of it. So, I recommend everyone take a safe boating class prior to getting on the water before the summer season.
If somebody goes out to rent a boat for the day, they do make them take some sort of course, right? I mean, I've rented like a jet ski, and they make you take, maybe it's a 15-minute course. You don't learn a lot, but you do learn some important stuff.
Yes, you learn the basic safety, some of the rules of the roads, things that you need to be aware of. The state of Maryland does require that, especially if you're going into a rental company. They go through the procedures, make sure you have the certificate that allows you to rent that boat, that you've gone through the safety course.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about boating safety, just what you need to have on your boat in terms of equipment, what training, who can operate a vessel, give us a call. We'll have the number up on the screen. You can also tweet your questions. The Twitter address is @MPT News. Commander, you mentioned safety equipment. The number one thing has to be PFDs, personal flotation devices. On a 95-degree day, is it a little bit harder to convince people that they need to wear it, even if they're accomplished swimmers?
Yeah, so the number one thing you can have, the best thing you can do for yourself is have the life jacket and then wear it. The life jacket's not going to do you any good if you're not wearing it. People think, I can swim, I'm a strong swimmer, and honestly, I get most nervous on beautiful days like today where it's hot outside, because what we see happening is people jump in the bay to cool off. So they jump in the bay, they're swimming around, they're cooling off, and what people don't realize is they get fatigued and exhausted much more quicker in waters outside of a pool type environment. You don't realize the current because you don't see it, so you have to work harder. You start drifting away from the boat. And when you become fatigued, that life jacket's what's going to keep you afloat until help gets on scene. So the number one thing you can do is wear that life jacket. I don't know how many times we've been involved in a case where, you know, when there are survivors, the one thing they say and the one thing they take away from it was, I knew where the life jackets were, I had them stowed in this position, it happened so quick I wasn't able to grab them. So I can't emphasize enough, and it's the one thing, you know, I repeat over and over again, the life jacket's not going to help you if you're not wearing it, and when things go bad, they go bad very quickly, and oftentimes you don't have time to grab that life jacket.
I want to talk about personal watercraft jet skis a little bit. They're a lot of fun. They're also probably the most annoying vessels out there somehow when they're zipping around trying to jump wakes and that sort of thing. From a Coast Guard standpoint, are they of particular concern?
We do see, you know, accidents with jet skis or any personal watercraft. You know, you get people coming in for the summer. They want to have fun. They go out on board these jet skis. And they start associating alcohol and mixing them with, you know, boating. And alcohol and boating is extremely dangerous, whether it's a large motorized vessel or a personal watercraft like a jet ski. It really doesn't matter. The impact of it is bad every time. It's very dangerous. It doesn't matter what size the boat is. So we do see that as well.
Is there a blood alcohol content limit for boaters, like drivers?
So recreational boating, 0.08, but we really like to encourage people not to mix alcohol or drugs with boating at all. People don't realize the impact and impairment of alcohol happens a lot quicker on the water than it does when you're out driving before you get out and drive your car on land. The sun, heat stroke, dehydration, all of that impacts your body much more significantly, so the alcohol takes effect much quicker than it does drink for drink on land when you're driving a vehicle. So I like to encourage never mix boating and driving alcohol and driving a boat. It also slows your reaction time. It makes boating much more dangerous, not only for you and everyone you have on board, but everyone else around you. So it's never a good thing. You can still have fun out of the water on your boat and not mix it with alcohol.
Let's take a phone call. Allegheny County, this is Lisa. Lisa, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm in Western Maryland, in Mountain, Maryland, and I have a kayak and I have all the safety gear, etc. I'm wondering, you know, what advice you can give to us kayakers, canoers, going down the rivers of Western Maryland.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you for that question. So first thing's going to be wear your life jacket. A lot of kayakers, canoers bring a life jacket along. They stow it up forward underneath their feet, and they're not able to reach it if they overturn or capsize. So wear your life jacket. There's plenty of different styles of life jackets these days. So They're much more breathable. You don't even realize you have them on. So first things first, wear a life jacket. Second, I recommend everyone that has either a paddleboard, canoe, kayak to get those stickers. Maryland Natural Resources Police has the stickers, and so do Coast Guard Auxiliary if you go out to your local auxiliary office. Has these stickers to label your kayaks and canoes with, your name, contact number, so that oftentimes people don't stow that equipment properly. It ends up drifting out, and we have to assume that there's potentially a person in the water. And so we end up searching on unmanned kayaks and canoes, even when there's not necessarily a person in the water. The other thing you can do is also just as important as a life jacket is tell someone who's not coming with you, whether it be a family or a friend, what your plans are for the day, where you plan on going, how long you plan on being out, so that if you don't return when they're expecting you to return, they know to immediately call us, and we can start our launching efforts at that point in time. We know where to start looking because you've told someone where you plan on going, and it gives us an area to start our search efforts if you aren't back in time and are in trouble. So those three things, and you can always get a handheld radio to carry with you. I always like to emphasize having a radio over a cell phone. When you make a call on channel 16 for help, that's a call to not just the Coast Guard, but everyone listening to channel 16. So multiple people can hear you. The Coast Guard also has equipment that when you call out on channel 16, we're able to pinpoint where you're located, at least the direction, sometimes the exact location, but we're able to narrow in on where you could possibly be calling from for help. So I like to recommend having a handheld radio over a cell phone.
Commander, before we go, any last advice, any misunderstood rules that people forget or don't understand properly? I mean, it sounds like the big stuff is wear a flotation device, don't drink, and know what you're doing with the vessel.
Right. The other thing that Maryland boaters need to do is take a look at the weather for the entire day before they go out and get on the water. Chesapeake Bay and the Potomac River can get sloppy real quick when those storms roll through, winds pick up. It gets really choppy out there and gets mixed and confused conditions. And oftentimes that's when we see vessels start capsizing and people start getting into a lot of trouble during those times. So take a look ahead at the day, know what that weather is going to be. When you start to see those clouds roll in, winds pick up, cooler temperatures, things start to change, that's your cue to start getting off the water.
It's the old chance of late afternoon thunderstorms here at almost every day in the summer. That is Sarah Wallace, U.S. Coast Guard Lieutenant Commander, joining us from Coast Guard Station Annapolis. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And coming up tonight, what men need to know about their health. We'll be right back.
Got an unused vehicle going nowhere? Donate it to the one place that can take you any place. Visit mpt.org/vehicles and support the programs you love on MPT.
The MPT app puts our programs right at your fingertips, so you can choose when to watch, what to watch, wherever you want to watch it. Download it now.
What happens in Japan and Asia matters to me. With NHK World's newsroom in Tokyo, I get the news live from Japan right at the start of my day.
New ideas come out of Asia all the time. NHK Newsline reports on business, technology, and world events from Tokyo to Bangkok.
Once in the morning gives me a heads up on the competition.
Every hour on the hour, the news I want from Asia.
Watch NHK World now on Comcast Channel 268 and Verizon Channel 480.
Are you turning 70 and a half this year? If so, you generally have to start spending down your retirement account. Even the minimum distribution can place you in a sticky situation. Luckily, you can now use your IRA to make tax-free gifts. Gifts up to $100,000 will never count as income, but always make a difference. That's icing on the cake.
Make your gift for this year before December 31st. Visit mpt.org/support.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
Joining us for this week's Your Health segment is Dr. Jason Ramirez, Assistant Professor at the Department of Family and Community Medicine at the University of Maryland School of Medicine and Director of Inpatient Medicine at the University of Maryland Medical Center. Doctor, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Jeff.
You were telling me before the program that you have you have named a new medical condition known as Y chromosome syndrome.
I have.
This is going to wind up in a peer-reviewed journal, I'm sure. What's it about?
Well,
I think I may know, but
yes,
tell us.
I affectionately call a lot of patients that are men as having the Y chromosome syndrome. Men have an X and a Y chromosome, and having this syndrome myself, I do not like going to physicians, and most men just don't like going to doctors. And I often chuckle still 18 years later when I ask a gentleman, why are you here? And they look over at their significant other who kind of gives them that look like, talk about something because I told you to come here. Men just in general don't like going to the physician.
Well, for one thing, I mean, since, you know, we were little, whenever you went to the physician, you got stuck with a needle for no good reason, it seemed at the time. And maybe it's just not wanting to invite bad news. What do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting 'cause I have thought about it a lot, and it is that I think men don't want to hear the worst, and we often think of, okay, I'm going to hear something bad news, and I don't want to hear it, and so we actually, ironically, prolong sometimes our care, and I see that a lot where men will present with more advanced illness and disease because they are not up on their primary care, such as cancer screening, vaccinations, as you put it. And it really does seem like they're not listening to their body, the signs and symptoms that their body may tell them. They may wait months, sometimes years, before they come to a physician, and when they could have caught it earlier, where management could have been taken.
So it could be denial, could be some other things.
I think a fear of the unknown, more so. I see it more so in men. A fear of, well, what is the doctor going to tell me? They're going to give me some news that I don't want to hear, and if I ignore it, it'll go away.
You wonder if Y chromosome syndrome is a contributing factor in women outliving men for the most part. Has that itself, the longevity differential, been studied?
No, it's not been studied in the manner of that. You know, again, I kind of coined that term.
You made this up half an hour ago. Right?
Yeah, well, coined that term, but I do believe it is relevant. So when men aren't coming to the primary care physician, their family doctor or their primary care physician, and getting their health maintenance screening, you know, they're not getting counseling on proper lifestyles of diet, exercise, smoking cessation, moderation of alcohol, then they do present with later disease.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about men's health that you don't want to make an appointment and go to the doctor to ask, you can call us. The number will be up on the screen. You could also tweet your questions. @MPT News is the Twitter address. Please give us a call. Now, I mean, some stuff everybody can understand. It's better to find out if you have high cholesterol now than when the heart attack comes. But maybe there's some things where, you know, like prostate cancer screenings, where maybe some men have seen other men have what appear to be bad experiences.
True. I actually hear that a lot. Men will come and they say, I'm not going to get this, I don't want this test because a person had this and these were the outcomes and I don't want that to happen to me. The point of primary care, however, is to try and address disease or prevent disease before it becomes too far advanced. So your cholesterol screening, your diabetic screening, your high blood pressure screening, those are high risk factors for the most common cause of mortality, which is heart disease.
And the solutions aren't terribly onerous. I mean, you can take a pill, you could lose some weight, whatever it is, and live longer.
Correct. Yep.
So it's a pretty good deal.
Right. With education and lifestyle modification, with the knowledge that you can improve your health, it really is helpful.
Let's take a phone call.
Sure.
Garrett County, this is Dave. Dave, thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Yeah, I went through 45 treatments of radiation, and they said, oh, it's gone. But they didn't take any pictures or anything. How do we know it's gone?
Thank you, Dave. Thanks very much for the phone call. Guessing that was prostate-related or something. What are the current recommendations on that? Because it's been, the PSA in particular has been, it's been back and forth, put it that way.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Recommendations for prostate cancer screening, and as far as PSA has changed over the past decade, where it used to be every man at the age of 50 would get a PSA screen and an examination, to now our role as a primary care physician is to educate on what the test is, what the possibilities are if the test is abnormal, and make what we call informed decision-making on the patient standpoint.
Let's look at this demographically for a second. We'll talk about ages in a second, but for African-American men, men of Latino descent, are there any special concerns that you would want the primary care physician to ask or raise?
Absolutely. It definitely plays a role. So family history, African-American heritage would put people at higher risk of prostate cancer, and that's part of the informed decision-making. If I have a gentleman who comes in and says, my father and my grandfather had prostate cancer, I'm worried about it, I'm more likely to go ahead and say, well, you know what, let's get this test, the PSA test, with the education of what it means if the test comes back abnormal and what the further steps would be.
You know, I was starting to think about the difference in men's ages, and I was going to ask a question about guys in their 20s. And they think they're invincible, and they're not really enthusiastic about going to the doctor unless something's bleeding. But then it occurred to me that we all think we're in our 20s. I think guys up until their 80s think they're in their 20s, and maybe that's part of this.
That's a good point. I never thought of it that way. That definitely, when young men are in their 20s, 30s, they don't think they have health problems. They don't appreciate the consequences of some of the lifestyle choices they've made. I do think when we get a little bit older and more experienced in life, it becomes more of, okay, I'm worried about what I'm going to find out because of my lifestyle changes that I made in life, or decisions I made in life.
Yeah, here's a Twitter question. I just turned 40. What health screenings would you recommend, and how often?
Okay, good question. A lot of it depends on risk factors in life as well. So diabetic screening, high blood pressure screening, and cholesterol screening, again, targeting the main risk factors for coronary artery disease or heart disease. If someone has again, family history of certain illnesses, that may trigger me to think about those as well. But at 40, that's really the screening recommendations. There are more screening recommendations once a gentleman turns 50.
I was joking earlier about, you know, getting shots every time he went to the doctor as a kid, but as we age, do we continue to need any routine stuff?
Yeah. Tetanus is usually the one that we miss a lot as adults. We don't think we need a tetanus booster anymore, but every 10 years we should be getting tetanus, and it's a tetanus pertussis combination. And the pertussis is an illness that really affects children more, but by us getting immunized as adults, we're actually protecting our young children or grandchildren that maybe not had the immunizations yet. So whereas these illnesses may not do much in adults, they can be very serious in young people.
What do you do with a patient who has no idea of their immunization history when they were a kid? Does it matter later in life?
It can. For instance, somebody who was not sure if they had chickenpox is at risk for shingles. You know, back even when I was growing up, the chickenpox vaccine didn't exist. We don't see as much of that anymore. But what's important with the immunizations is that people know what they've been exposed to, and you can do that with blood titers. So you can get blood tests to determine if you have immunity to things that you should have been immunized to as a child.
And then the annual question of flu shots.
Yes, flu shots. So
you get a flu shot, I'm guessing.
It's required that all healthcare providers get a flu shot, and it's always debatable because I get the oh, I'm going to get the flu from the flu shot, or the flu shot got me sick. Most of the time, it's the flu vaccine just didn't cover the strain of flu that we covered during the immunization.
Let's grab a quick phone call here. Washington, D.C., this is Isaiah. Thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Yes.
You're on.
My question is, I've been diagnosed with cancer in the prostate, and so I'm not sure whether I should have the entire thing taken out or I should have isotopes.
Isaiah, I really hate to cut you off. I've got like 30 seconds left in the show. We'll get you an answer on the air, and best of luck. He needs a urologist for that.
Correct.
And where do you, little advice on finding a good specialist in a situation like his?
Well, you go to your primary care physician, and they would have the resources to refer you to the proper specialist.
Very good. Jason Ramirez is with the University of Maryland Medical Center. Doctor, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Join us Thursday at this time on Your Money in Business. We'll find out what consumers and business owners need to know about Maryland's economy and how dinner planning can be just a click away. We'll also find out what's happening with Maryland's new medical marijuana industry. We will meet one of the entrepreneurs who is hoping to lead that industry. Now, for all of us at MPT, thanks for watching and have a good night.
Your health segments are a co-production of Maryland Public Television and the University of Maryland Medical System.
This program was made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities.